नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahants, Mahants, Tanedars, Kotaris, visitors, viewers, sitting with us all over the world through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha all over the world, cities sitting with us in two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha all over the world, enriching temple, Bididi, Singapore, Singapuram, Oman, Sivagangai, Chorpatti, Nepal, Rajabalayam, Adinam, London, Kashi, Minot, North Dakota, Warrington, UK, Ohio, Praia, Columbus, Sri Lanka, Bengaluru North, Toronto, Tirukkaiyilaya, Seattle, Chidambaram, Guadalupe, Rameshwaram, Los Angeles, Arunachalam, Surrey, Canada, Oklahoma, Somanatham, Nityananda University, Paris, Houston, Kalahasti, San Jose, Madurai, Charlotte, Srisailam, Scottsdale, Arizona, Cluj, Romania, and some more cities are joining. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I am ready. Let's start the mantras. Just before entering into the mantra, our publication department has done an amazing work of already releasing the e-book of Upanishad Demystified Living Advaita series, my introduction to Upanishads. My introduction to Upanishads, all these days satsangs are already transcribed and available as an e-book. You can download it freely from our website nityananda.org. Upanishads Demystified, Akashic Records about Upanishads Revealed, Living Advaita series. The book is already ready. Thanks to publication department. Give a good hand to publication department. Blessings to publication department. They are really, really active and doing a wonderful job. Great. Let me enter into the sutras today. Let's invoke the presence and blessings of Mahadeva and all the rishis. Let them all bless us to vibrate in the same frequency, so we understand and experience the Upanishads. Purnamata Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. The yon is full, fullness. Fullness. This from fullness, fullness doth proceed. Withdrawing fullness of, even fullness then itself remains. Now an introduction. Understand? A normal man's life in the waking state runs based on logic. How much ever you condemn logic, you can't drop it. Understand? Even after realizing the state of God, if I feel like sneezing, I have to pick up the kerchief and wipe my face. It will not come by itself and wipe my face. A waking state of human life is bound by logic. It functions by logic. Logic is the law of waking state of human life. But human life is not just waking state, as we are all made to strongly cognize. That is where we need to understand. Listen. When the emotion interferes in any equation, logic loses its base. For example, 2 plus 2 is 4 is logic. But in a painting, the paint you used and the canvas put together is not painting. That is not equivalent to painting. Listen. You can't even come to the logical conclusion. The amount of force used by the painter on the brush which reached the canvas and made the paint stick to the canvas, no. The amount of paint used, the amount of force used, the canvas used, all put together can never equate painting, because the component of emotion involved. That is why even the country law gives huge punishment if the crime is heinous crime. All murderers don't get hanged. Only if it is rarest of the rare, they get hanged. What decides the rarest of the rare? The emotion involved in it. Like a child is killed. A child is raped and killed. Naturally, too much of emotion involved in it. The child has a future. It can't defend itself. It can't protect itself. Defenseless life, which has a future, when that is harmed or killed, naturally it becomes rarest of the rare crime. Understand, in any field, when the emotion is involved, logic cannot be taken to the end. And that does not give the right result. Emotion is the smell of consciousness. That is why your dreams can never be logically analyzed or concluded. Suddenly you will be sitting with somebody who you never want to see in your life, waking state, and having breakfast. Instead of breaking fast, you will be breaking your head. Listen. The natural law of human beings' waking state is called logic. The natural law of human beings' dream state is called emotion. Even the smell of the consciousness, which is emotion, if it intervenes a scene, interferes in a happening, your logical conclusions can't be arrived. Your logic loses its value, its stature, its status, its ability to answer why, who, what, when, where, how. You can never have an answer for why, when, where, what, how, what. You can never have an answer for why, when, where, what, how of the dream. Sigmund Freud is the biggest fraud who sold a big hypothetical a big fraudulent system of thinking to the world which can never be questioned and which can never be proved. I have a shocking revelation to all of you. The scientific father of the disease ADHD, please understand, I always mentioned in my satsangs, most of the mental disorders are false diseases created. Now, Leon Eisenberg, scientific father of ADHD, just before the death, is giving confession at the age of, I think, above 80. I was shocked to see that confession. He says, let me quote the exact word, ADHD is a fictitious disease. He says ADHD is a prime example of a fictitious disease. The scientific father of ADHD is uttering this word and is dead. ADHD is a fraud intended to justify starting children on a life of drug addiction. Dr. Edward C. Hamlin, founding member of the Royal College of General Practitioners, is making this statement. Understand, now it is too late. Already the human consciousness, human biomemories, human muscle memories have started believing the why, how, when, where, what of ADHD, and it has already become part of our system of thinking. What a great crime committed against humanity. I always insisted in my satsangs, if I was born in the West, I would have been branded as a hyperactive or indigo child or some name, and they would have given me the drug from the age of 1. From the age of 1, I would have been put on drugs. They are saying fictitious disease created with a fussy diagnostic methods. There are tons of articles about this fictitious disease, how they developed it. In whose hands are we? 24%. 24.4% of the money is used on promotion of the medicine. Only 13% is used for research and development to make sure the medicine is safe. Understand? Only 13% is used to make sure the medicine is safe. But 24%, almost double the amount, almost double, is used to push their medicine on the, I tell you, please understand, as an embodiment of the pure consciousness, I am telling you with all my integrity and authenticity, there is no such thing as mental disease can exist. Please understand, because mind is a liquid. It's a fluid. Only solid existence can have conflicts. Liquid existence can never have conflicts. Can water have a conflict with the vessel? Any vessel, it gets filled, it just fills itself. Understand? Concocted compositions of fears, compiled systematically and preached, is psychiatric and psychological disorders. Please understand. The psychopharmacology units all over the world, psychopharmacological units all over the world are made to believe by some vested interests if there is a delusion, instead of waking that person out of delusion, it is like, listen, a person is sleeping and dreaming that he is being chased by a tiger, and he shouts, "Tiger, tiger, save me," in the dream, and he is blabbering even in his sleep. You are the person who is standing next to him and seeing. What you need to do? Just tap him and wake him up. That's all is the solution. I am not saying the primary delusion doesn't exist. There is primary delusion. But the solution is not as difficult as it is projected, told to us. Please understand, the solution kills more people than the disease. If this chemotherapy and other killing drugs are not there, people will be alive for more time with cancer than with medicine. Medicines kill more people than diseases. Listen. The internet has done such great good to humanity, human society. Some people are using it for bad, that is different. All these truths come out and reach to common men because of internet. I always feel grateful to Mahadeva. Mahadeva, you blessed me with parents who are completely unaware of all this stupidity. No, really. My mother has started little worried about the way I was growing up because the power I'll exhibit, whether it is physical or mental. But fortunately, she did not have any access to any of these psychiatric concepts. So she did not put me in any psychiatric medicine. Rather, she put me with the gurus and masters and temple. Actually, she used to be very relieved when she knows I'm gone to temple. I've gone to some swamis. I've gone to some of these masters. She tried to send me to school, which I am not ready. Neither I was ready, nor the school was ready to have me. Now, actually, the teachers used to feel so relieved when I escaped from the class. And I still remember one teacher, the moment I enter the class, purposely he will stand towards the blackboard and 5 minutes he will not turn, giving time and space for me to run away. Once the class leader boy, he said, Sir, this boy is running away. For that only I am turning the back. Why are you shouting? Keep quiet. Let him go. Because the questions I ask, they will never be able to answer. And they don't want to answer also. The field of the emotion can never be logically analyzed, organized, arranged. To understand that, you need a altogether different level of cognition. The level of cognition, the cognition which empowers you to experience emotion, is called love. Listen. The cognition which empowers you to experience the law of the waking state is logic. The cognition which empowers you to experience the flow of the emotion is love. Other than love, nothing else can be useful to dissect, bisect, understand emotions. Sigmund Freud, the biggest fraud, he exploited the ignorance of human beings, knowing that the component of emotion cannot be logically analyzed and understood. And same way, if you develop a system to analyze logically the component of emotion, you can't disprove the system also. The gray area of neither can be proved nor can be disproved has been abused and misused, manipulated by Sigmund Freud. People who use the gray area. When you know law, if you are using the gray area, you are a criminal. If you know the field of emotion, dreams, mind, and you use the gray area, you are a criminal. If you know the science of consciousness, and if you use the gray area, that is the biggest conspiracy. I tell you, most authentic beings who never exploited the gray area of the consciousness and presented the truths as it is are Upanishadic rishis. Most of the founders of the religious organizations had powers, I am not denying. They had some experience of consciousness, but they used the gray area to establish their vested interests, using their knowledge and the people's ignorance of inability to disprove what they claim. The combination of all this was used to establish their vested interests. Here are the masters who don't even want to spell out their names. Rarely in conversation, if the names are spelled out by mistake, we have those few names. Other than that, nowhere they are ready to even declare their names. Even in those places, only the last name, that means the family name is available for us. Vyasa is the title, not the name. It is like a Swami. How you call me Swamiji? It's a title, not name. That much of apaurushyatva, that much of non-interference of the author or his vested interests. What a sacrifice. When I read the Upanishads, again and again I fall in love with rishis. The rishis who express these Upanishads. Every time I read, my eyes are filled with bliss tears and I am in love with them. A person of knowledge, please understand, a person who leads the army should never have fear even in the corner of his being. Because so many persons' courage is exploited by his courage. He can't have fear even in the corner of his being. He has awakened so many persons' courage and leading all of them, he has no right to have fear. An intellectual person can have fear, but never hypocrisy to exploit the gray zone, gray area. A person who leads the army has all the right to exploit the gray area. He has a right to do the guerrilla wars. He has a right for hypocrisy, but not for fear. An intellectual has a right to have fear, but never to exploit the gray area of knowledge. Some of the religious leaders, I won't name. If I name, tomorrow I may not be able to speak on Upanishads. I have done more damage to planet Earth by using the gray area of the consciousness zone. Sigmund Freud used the gray area of the emotional zone, where he developed a theory which can neither be proved right nor be proved wrong. As long as it can't be proved wrong, it can continue to exist. That is what is using the intellectual gray area. Same way, some of the founders of some of the religious organizations, when they got some powers, spiritual powers, by the conscious experiences, but not yet fully awakened and enlightened, used that gray area to establish their vested interests. Here are the rishis, the Vedic rishis. I tell you guys, if you are living Vedic tradition, please be proud about it. You are living unexploited, unmanipulated, unadulterated truth as your life. It is told to you as it is. Neither the disease is fictitious, nor the diagnosis is fussy methods. If you are screaming, seeing the tiger chasing you in your dream and asking for a help, the rishis just say, come on, wake up my son. They just wake you up, that's all. The system which empowers you in the waking state is logic. The system which empowers you in the emotion, dream state is love. The system which can empower you in conscious state is Advaita. Understand? All your emotions, if you handle it with love, I am giving you 100% guaranteed authentic word. All your emotional ups and downs, mood swings, handle it with love. It will just empower you and you will never have any disease related to mind. Your fear, your phobias, your depression, everything, handle it with love. You will just be free from all mental, psychological, psychiatric disorders. This one word, love, is the Sarva Roga Nivarani for anything mental, psychological, psychiatric disorders. You don't need to go through these fussy diagnosis methods. All the problems of consciousness, all the problems of consciousness can be handled just by the one principle, Advaita. Logic will not be useful in the field of emotion, and emotion will not lead you in the right level, right angle in the field of consciousness. That is why whenever you fall into the space of emotion, you lose your logic. When you fall into the space of consciousness, you lose your emotion. If your basic cognition is emotion, you lose all your logic. That is why it is called falling in love. Actually, it's not exactly love, it's some kind of attachment, infatuation. When you are infatuated, attached, all your logic disappears. When you are coming in touch with the Advaitic space, all your emotion disappears. Advaitis should live sannyas. Sannyas itself does not lead to Advaita. Understand? First become an Advaiti, Jivan Mukta, then sannyas will be successful. Then sannyas is possible. Otherwise, you will start developing attachment to your stupid Kamandalu, water pot. I have seen sannyasis who left everything. They dropped attachment to everything. But their Kamandalus they can't leave. That water pot. Listen. If your cognition moves to Advaita, automatically you go beyond logic and emotion. I just can't control my celebrative mood when I read even one verse of Upanishad. What a beauty! Beauty in words, grace in organizing the sounds. Never there was so much of beauty expressed in words or the grace organized in sounds. Purnamata Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Just by repeating this one line, I can give up my body. Nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. This one verse was made available to me in my human body is enough. This human body has achieved what it needs to achieve. This one sacred sentiment, the one sacred truth is revealed to me is enough. This human body is useful. It is used more than it can be used. Now it has reached its fulfillment. Anything further, if it is alive, it is a bonus. The cognition, when that gets centered on consciousness, life is love, laughter, joy, and life itself. Let us now understand how to make our cognition centered on this sacred truth. The whole comes from whole and be established in the whole and gets back to whole, and even during this whole process, it remains as whole. How can we align our cognition to it? As I said, Mathematically, you can never understand this verse. Mathematically, you can't say 2 comes out of 2 and stays as 2 and goes back to 2. Even after that, it remains as 2. No. That is why the concept of zero, no brain was able to conceive other than the Rishi's brain. I am revealing the next Akashic records. Please listen. Listen, I am revealing the Akashic records. When the concept of zero itself was revealed, the consciousness of the Rishi was the whole was the value of the zero, not nothingness. Please listen. Infinity was the definition of zero by the Upanishadic Rishis. But the logic mind which received these understandings was not able to comprehend. So they made that as nothingness. Shunya means sa anya. There is nothing other than. This exists is shunya. Sa anya. Nothing other than this exists means anything you call it as anya, inclusive of that is shunya. Listen. Sa anya. Anything you call it as other, including all that is shunya. Zero of Indian rishis is not zero of Western mathematicians. Zero of the Indian rishis is not the zero of Western mathematicians. Unfortunately, the zero which got delivered here, traveled there and came back with a new interpretation, become part of our thinking system. In further satsangs, I will reveal more and more details of applying the original zero of the Vedic rishis into our logic, love and conscious cognitions. This one understanding, zero is not nothingness, it is infinity. Zero is not nothingness, it is infinity. This one statement, if this one cognition is digested into your system, if this one truth becomes your cognition, your whole life will take a new turn. You will not believe anymore the stupid theories of you are going to have death or destruction, the stupid theories of one life concepts, all that will disappear. How can you have one life? How can life have one life? You can have one body at a time, that is accepted. How can life have only one life? Then are you just body? Then after the life leaves, the body should be functioning. Then if suddenly body is not functioning, then something is leaving. What leaves? How can that have only one body? If that is only one body, then it should not be leaving it. Tons and tons of stupid cognitions you are carrying will melt down. Tons and tons of stupid beliefs you are carrying will melt down with this one sacred truth. Zero is not nothingness, zero is infinity. Shunya, as it was discovered, Shunya, as it was spelled out by the rishis, did not mean nothingness, it meant infinity. Sa anya means anything you call it as anya, all that put together is shunya. Na anya, nothing other than, is different. Sa anya, anything you think or understand or feel as anya is all put together. Means the possibility for the other to exist does not exist in shunya. Because anything you say other, we say already we have included, that is why it is shunya. I am not disagreeing. Primarily there is a problem in human beings, but I am not agreeing to any of these psychiatric, psychological, fussy diagnostic methods and the cures. I wanted all my Gurukul kids who are already there and who are going to come, thousands and thousands, to take up the field of psychology, psychiatric, and tell the truth to the world by dedicating their life to that field and expose that field to the world. I feel sometimes it will be really nice if I have a PhD on the field of psychology, because my words will be taken more seriously. And I'll get it. I'll get it. I'm not against the doctors, psychiatric doctors and psychological the doctors, practitioners. No, I'm not against. All I am telling you is even you are deluded. The lie is sold to you, even to you it is being sold. I'll continue on the Upanishads. I'll continue the music started by Mahadeva in his Rudra Veena. In his intense silence, I'll continue to hum, at least as a background chorus voice of Mahadeva's beautiful songs, these Upanishads. Today, the Uttaranga of Brahmotsava, third day, Tepotsavam, and the day of Kopuja, Mattu Pongal, Anandanandi, Dinotsava. And as Vedic community is a agriculture based community, as our civilization is agriculture based civilization, all over the India, please understand, Makara Sankranti is not something special to Tamil Nadu, it is all over the India. They celebrate this Makara Sankranti, thanking Surya, who is the source of life for agriculture lifestyle, and thanking all the animals supporting agriculture, not just cow and bull Even goats, all the animals are revered, respected today, loved. Gratitude is shown to them. Today we have the Mattu Pongal celebration of the Gopuja in our Goshala, and Singapore, Madeline's baby. Blessings for Madeline and your baby. You can do the Annaprasnam, blessings. You can feed the child with the solid food. My presence will be there. I am with you. Blessings. Blessings to the baby. Singapore is keeping deities beautifully. Deities are very happy. Blessings to all the devotees. And especially the puja team. Deities are very happy. You guys have to just quickly get the Prabhavali and Bhogamurti. That's all. And start the worship regularly. Blessings. Oh, Prem Tirtha is Pujari. Blessings to Pujari. Blessings. When people are happy seeing the beauty of deities, deities are also happy. See, just to see the joy in your eyes only, I am wearing all these snake, all these jewelries. Otherwise, what will I do with all this? But when I see joy in your eyes, I feel joy. When I see you are enjoying, I am enjoying. It is for you to enjoy. Because you are enjoying, I am enjoying it. Otherwise, I myself have no enjoyment. That is why all these stupid fellows who are criticizing me for my wardrobe were shocked. One day, suddenly I declared, all right, I took the Madhurayadinam responsibility. I am not going to wear any more color dresses other than this cloth. They were shocked. How can he give up just like that? We don't have now any material to criticize him. Because they were constantly criticizing, oh, he wears all color clothes, he dresses up himself, all that. Suddenly one day I declared, no more color dresses, only I'll use this color, because I took the responsibility of Madhurayadinam. Because I myself never have any attachment to any of that. You enjoy, I say, all right, you enjoy, I enjoy. For the sake of devotees, come on. That's it. So deities are also very happy when devotees enjoy their beauty. When devotees are happy seeing their beauty, they are also happy. That's all. My blessings to all you guys. Real Upanishadic satsang feels like every day I am delivering the fulfillment of delivering a baby, delivering life. With this, I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Advaita, eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.